This episode not only gave me an understanding of what Steven is when it comes to his character traits, but the fact that the crystal gems, while being neglectful, doesn't automatically mean that the neglectful side is one of the reasons onto why that they're terrible. Because, to tell you the truth, they just don't understand how humans cooperate, considering that they don't celebrate birthdays like other characters do who aren't gems. Too many birthdays really captures the development that the crystal gems, that they don't age and they don't celebrate birthdays, and whenever Steven is trying to show what birthday parties are like, they're just not into it, and mainly the fact that they act differently than Steven. But considering that Steven is a kid, to tell you the truth, him acting mature, to be perfectly real, as much as Finn had to be mature from Adventure Time, if he was in Steven's position, he will probably be in a handicap position of all handicap positions. Steven continues to get older and older since he's not acting like himself. To be perfectly real with you, since that this is before the actor who played Steven had his puberty when it comes to his voice changing later on in the season, it really feels like that they're really trying to showcase of what Steven's life would have been like if he was like the Crystal Gems, mainly taking things seriously, and to tell you the truth, judging of how the Crystal Gems just don't see what Steven does in his life outside of doing missions, regardless if they did that in Arcade Mania, it's really not enough. Believe me, it really feels like when Steven is just trying to get into the spirit of having the Crystal Gems celebrate in their own respective birthday, since that they never had a birthday, which only leads to Steven having which leads to Steven trying to act a lot more mature, even though he can't be able to, otherwise he would get older and older. I got the impression that when he got older by the time the movie came out, it was mainly his own way of getting older rather than getting older the way he gotten in this episode. I need to be really honest with you, this is one of the most darkest episodes from Steven Universe, mainly the fact that whenever Steven gets older and older, he becomes a lot more weaker and weaker. Like, it really shows that the execution in this episode just showcases of Steven just trying to find some different solutions in order to return to the age he originally was, and when the Crystal Gems tried to help, it just wasn't enough because he's not acting like himself. It really feels like Steven can't be able to experience life even if he went to school, because he will probably stay the same position that he was when it comes to him trying to be himself but also not acting mature enough, because if he does, he will get older and older and something bad will happen. I'm not sure if this is one of the original takes on making Steven be with the Crystal Gems rather than going to school, which it's been established that he lives in a van, mainly the fact that his life just isn't the same as everyone else's. It really made me convinced that everything that Steven does when it comes to him acting mature just isn't possible for his life to change. I'm gonna be real with you, I don't think that if Steven had the chance to change his life, it would still backfire on him, which is really sad. If the Crystal Gems or any other gem age, I'm pretty sure the outcome would have been a lot more similar to how humans would age, but since that the Crystal Gems are 1,000 years old, who have so much experiences that humans don't, then it really shows that they have nothing to lose other than getting poofed, or mainly getting their gems shattered, which is the only way they're ever going to die. Rewatching these episodes really shows that there's a lot more onto why Steven is in a position where he can't be able to control his life. I mean, granted, he tried to attempt that, but at the same time, knowing forward that he just doesn't understand how humans cooperate, I think it kind of shows that he can't be able to escape anything in order to succeed without any of the Crystal Gems. But believe it or not, knowing full well that the Crystal Gems at least try to do what they can in order to be supportive towards Steven, them being neglectful isn't how neglectful parents are like when it comes to other media or basically anyone outside of media, mainly in the real world. To tell you the truth, the crystal gems, while neglectful, doesn't automatically mean that they deserve to get trashed on by being neglectful. Trust me when I say this, these characters are nowhere near as bad as Timmy Turner's parents and the Loud House's parents. Let's be real with you, there are multiple reasons onto why I don't hate everything of what these characters do. If when the development is showcasing onto why they do the things they are, since that they have no experiences of taking care of a child like Steven. Even if they try to be better, you can't argue that they're worse than Rose Quartz, because to be perfectly real with you, everyone can agree that the Crystal Gems are better parents than Rose. Since that Steven never met Rose and he never got the opportunity to. So for me personally, what we ended up getting in Season 5 and future really showcases Steven's development, even though that people may disagree with me. So when it comes to the following episode that is uploaded right after this, let's just say that Steven's struggles on handling his life just isn't the same as everyone else's, and to tell you the truth, it just further indicates that he's just not be able to handle everything on his own. I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10.